no way will I get invited. I'm already deep inside it. I can't shake it, I can't hide it. I am the outsider. No reason to get excited. We don't have to be so divided. I can't shake it.
Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Swansonville. I am Joe Finley.
And I'm Angie Finley.
We are the Swansons.
And this is Swansonville Podcast.
That's right. This is our third official episode.
That's right.
And we've had quite a busy week, haven't we, Ange?
That's right.
We had a show this week.
We did. We played at the House of Blues.
House of Blues, which you happen to know some fun facts about.
Of course, yes. Well, we played at the House of Blues Anaheim, but of course, the very first House of Blues, I was surprised to learn, is in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1992, was the very first one.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm surprised it wasn't Chicago.
Yeah, you would think.
Cambridge, Massachusetts. Also, the whole theme around House of Blues, is like Southern and Southern rock, yet Massachusetts is East Coast.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'd have to go there and see the music scene.
Yeah.
In Cambridge, Massachusetts. Would you like to take
I guess
there?
every place has a scene of some sort.
Well, besides that Cambridge one, the first one, overall right now House of Blues has 12 locations total, in which we played the Anaheim.
And we've seen, that's right, we played in Anaheim, which closed. We played in LA, which closed. Right?
Yeah. Well, Anaheim is open.
They reopened. They moved. I'm sorry.
They're claiming that House of Blues Anaheim was built, because it's true, in March 2017, just last year, because they were originally Disneyland.
Right, on the Disney Walk.
Yeah, that's right. So House of Blues Anaheim's location was downtown Disneyland, which was a great location, but we actually had the chance playing there.
We did. We did. We played there. Yes, I know. I didn't say we did, like questioning that we did. You're like, we did. You don't recall?
I'm almost positive remembering playing the last weekend.
Yes.
Before they closed doors. And I actually haven't seen what they have there. I think that they were building a bowling alley.
So they moved the location from the Disney Walk to this new location, which we played the final weekend on the Disney Walk, and now this is a fairly new show for us at the brand new location.
Yes, and so what I realized is that there was little to no downtime, because they were like building that before they shut the other one down, which is smart. Unlike the LA one, which they, that one sold, and every time I drive by, they're starting construction on the condominiums that are going up there, whatever it is. Mm. It makes me sad when I drive by, but I try to research to see when are they going to be opening the Los Angeles, and there's nothing on it. So currently, right now, come on, House of Blues LA, we need you back, and it'd just be fun to get that LA one back. Because right now, there's no House of Blues Los Angeles. I know.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have played at a few different House of Blues locations. And most have been with John Avila and
Sound the Groove, yeah.
Sound the Groove, Groove International, and thanks to him and all the shows that he has thrown our way. Other than that, so at the House of Blues, so we had a great show there. We played in the Parish Room. That's
right, and that was new to us too, and I thought it was really neat because the Anaheim one in the Disney Walk only had one stage. And House of Blues is known for having several rooms, the foundation room, they're known for that. The Parish Room, the main stage, the Voodoo Room, those are their kind of thing. And the Anaheim one wasn't able to give them that. It was just the one thing. So it's nice at this new location. And I enjoyed the Parish Room much more comparatively to what we've only played the Foundation Room.
Right.
And I like the Parish Room.
A whole different vibe, So, but the Parish Room was... It was a cool little concert setting, really cool lighting and good sound. The people were great, very responsive and engaging, so it was a fun show for us, right? A fun show for us, which sent us off to Nashville. So we left that show, we got some sleep, and then we got on a plane and we took off to Nashville. What did we do in Nashville? Well, our main reason for going to Nashville was...
That's right, to finish the record recording, at least our portion of it, because once we're done recording, then it goes into post-production stuff. And as of right now, I think we're satisfied with the songs we have and the amount of songs to go ahead and complete this album. Any new songs that you may write, though, Joe, will be for the next album. Of course, we will continue to write, right?
Yes. And then we took off to Nashville to make this record, to finish making the record. So that was the exciting and intense part of our travels there, knowing that we were going there to do a lot of work, right? A lot of work. We went with our videographer, video guy Vic, and we were so blessed and fortunate to have Vic there for a multitude of reasons, not just to document, which he did pretty much the whole event there and recording the album and mixing it down. He's not allowed to reveal any of that information, however.
We had an opportunity to shoot a video in Nashville, which we love to go to different locations and shoot videos. So it's good to get a change of scenery, because we just needed to get out of Southern California, I felt like. And every time we go there, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I never want to leave. I was awesome. Sad, but I missed, obviously, our son, Sky.
Right. We traveled without Sky this time because we had so much work to do.
And he
had school.
And we got to see some of the players, which actually we're going to interview on this episode.
That's correct. Right. Well, we should have led in with that.
Jim Riley and Jaime
I apologize for I should have. This is a
it's
very.
Okay, it just came to mind, and I just thought, you know what? Who did we see there? Pretty much, Jimmy and Jimmy and Jimmy Riley.
Jimmy Riley, we call him Jimmy.
That's so funny. I was going to say Janae. We saw our fiddle player Janae while we were there. We had a chance to say hi to her, but we didn't see Brent Mason. But we will see him in Vegas. But we actually had a chance to sit down.
We saw Jimmy and Jaime. Jimmy and Jaime
Riley, which is the Riley, what did they say? The Riley choir?
Yeah. They sing
vocals.
Just wonderfully together. And this was our first opportunity to hear them live
in the studio. Yes.
And working out their parts, which is another thing, too. They create their own background parts. We feed them the songs, and they evaluate the songs, and we've never said no to anything that they create because they're just so good at doing what they do with these background vocals. They're just incredible, man. These musicians and Jimmy and Jaime,
so we'll have that coming up.
So we'll have that coming up, but that was a lot of fun doing that, and we ran into another friend of ours here from Southern California, who we just played a couple shows with, Cotaway.
Cotaway Kiss. He plays drums for us. And he was vacationing in Nashville. He's like, I travel all over the U.S. for music, for playing music, but it's always just in and out, gigs, playing shows, and then leaving. Never really getting to experience the city, so that's not fun. So he's like, I need to take a vacation. And we happened to be there at the same time, and sure enough, he stopped by the studio and got to listen in on our new album, which he's sworn to secrecy.
That's right, he is.
And then we also met up with him more on the honky-tonk.
We miniature golfed with him and his partner, his friend, who we met.
By the way, there's an amazing mini golf course in Nashville called Grand Old Carts, Golf and Carts, and it's right by the Gaylord Opryland Resort, which is beautiful as well. But the mini golf course is so much fun. It's unlike any course I've ever seen. We love mini golf. We play around here. But this course is extreme, and all mini golf courses should be like this.
Yes, and beautiful, like all of Tennessee. I mean, it's just so gorgeous. Now, downtown on Broadway, we went down there I want to call it extraordinary. The circumstance, everything about it. It was freezing cold. We were under a lot of stress. We had already been in the studio for many hours, done a lot of things. Shot the interview for the podcast.
But that's how it is. When we go out and do these things, it's like go, 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 go. There's
that's not the point. But here's the thing, though, is on Broadway, it was freezing cold, right? As I was saying, standing on the street corner with people rolling back and forth with a speaker on the ground, playing our song.
Yeah, that was tough.
And having to sing it out loud. Well, our video guy, Vic, is taping.
Yeah, that's right. And people are walking by.
And I say taping. I have a habit of saying taping, but videoing.
Yeah, I know. What's the proper word? SD carding, right?
Yeah.
So there's people walking by, and in every bar, there's live music. And a lot of them have speaker systems playing outside, too, to get you to come inside. So there's a lot of noise, so we could barely hear the music. Vic's going to have a heck of a job.
It was so loud.
But we got through it.
We did. High five. And proceed. So what happened, let me just set the other thing up real quick. So having done all that, right, and it got intense. It got really, really intense. Angie yelled at me because she said I was yelling at her. I was not yelling.
It was a long day.
Vic, was I yelling?
Yeah.
I was yelling. Well, it was, okay. So anyways, we fixed everything was fine. So then Vic wants to go back, he says, for 20 or 30 minutes to stand in one spot to get a time lapse.
It's really important.
It's very important, but at this point in time, it didn't, it was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Now what are we going to do, right? So we find our way down the street as Vic sets up his time lapse, and we go and have a Coca-Cola and we didn't tell Vic we had a little something to eat because none of us had eaten. We had some Angie ordered a quesadilla. Oh, I was just going to get some little chicken fingers, Vic. But Angie added a quesadilla. But anyways, through the window, we saw this odd scene transpire, right? We had already seen these two people in masks, right?
I think we were doing the song thing right near them. Because they were doing their thing. We were doing our thing. Anyways, the funniest thing is, so they have a Donald Trump mask on and a Kim Jong-un mask on. I'm sorry. And then it wasn't just, so they're silent, and it's really funny. And then two guys that are kind of running the show, and they're the hustlers. They're the ones that are, as they see people walking by and watching and very interested, they're like, come on, get a picture. They're salesmen.
Right, they're on the hustle
big
big time.
So we're watching, and believe it or not, they're making good money. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We were only sitting there, 20 minutes? They had at least 3 people, and they weren't just taking one photo. Here's the other part of the game.
Yes, here's the trick.
They don't let you take the picture with your phone. Let's say I'm the person coming up. I want to take a photo. They're not using my phone. They have a phone, right?
Right.
They have you take like 5 photographs. It's more than one because it's, guess what? Guess what it costs at the end? I saw the guy had $20. Then
$20 hustle.
They have to talk afterwards because they have to send the photos.
From their phone to your phone.
They're either getting an email or a telephone number.
Yes.
And money.
So it's a double whammy.
Right.
You're paying them to give them your information.
And you get in exchange. You get the cool photos, really cool photos, I guess. I don't know, $20 worth?
But the hustle didn't end there, Angie. In the parking lot, right? There's people trying to direct us into a slot.
That's a more dangerous situation.
Yeah, as if they're parking attendants.
And thank gosh there's signs that say, don't talk to attendants. There's no attendants, because I wouldn't know. And I'd be pulling in like, thank you, yes. Where do I pay? Oh, I pay you? Next thing you know, my car's towed.
Yeah.
Let me just scoot around this a little
bit. Scoot around. So you have a Johnny Cash fun fact
that's
for
right.
us today.
Here's some country history. Drum roll, please. Johnny Cash was also an ordained minister.
Whoa.
I know. I was like, happy to see that, because aren't you, Joe?
Well, yes.
So I didn't know that. So it's true. He's a religious man, and he was actually an official ordained minister.
So coming up next on our podcast, we're going to do the interview that we're talking about, right?
That's right.
Jim and Jaime Riley, and it's interesting, entertaining, and we can't wait for y'all to see it, right?
Yeah, we were happy to have the opportunity to do the interview with them and know them and work with them. So here we go.
Have a look.
I am the outsider. No reason to get excited.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Swansonville. We are here today with our special guest, Jim and
Jaime
Jaime
Riley.
Riley. Hello, Jim, Jaime.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks
We
for
just
having
finished
me.
a session, a studio session here in Nashville,
Tennessee.
Goodlettsville to be more precise.
That's right.
And Jim and Jaime are wonderful singers, and you probably know Jim from Rascal Flatts, drummer of Rascal Flatts. And Jaime has to put up with Jim being in Rascal Flatts. And so we're going to learn a little bit more about them today. Let's start off. Angie, why don't you ask a few questions? And
Sure, we'll just start off asking you guys, how'd you guys meet? What's the story?
Well, we actually met through music. I had just moved to town about 6 months. This was 18 years ago. And I was playing with a trio. We were writing and singing and playing, performing. And
I happened to be subbing on a weekend gig for somebody. The guy had actually come up to me and said, "Hey, I've got to go to jail this weekend. Will you sub for me?" I went, "Yeah, sure." So I was subbing at a gig. What's the name of the club?
It was the old Hall of Fame Lounge. It's
Hall of
not
Fame?
there anymore.
Right. It's in the bottom of a hotel, not too far from.
DeMunbrand.
Yeah.
10
Anyways,
minutes.
so she was playing with that trio, and I was playing in the band. We played the first set, and instead of turning on some music, they got this trio up, and I saw them and heard them, and I thought they were really amazing. And I went and talked to them and asked them, what they'd done in terms of recording. And I said, well, I'd be really interested in just doing some recording with you guys. And that's how we met. Yeah.
But I was just going to say, but how long, obviously that's where you met her, but you didn't ask her out right away. I mean, how long did it take?
No, it took a while because I thought she was younger than she was, and I thought for sure she had like some douchebag boyfriend that I was going to want to hate anyways, But neither one of those were true. She was a little older than I thought. I thought she was like, 18 years old or something. And she didn't have a boyfriend, and I never would have gotten the guts to ask her out, but the other girl in her trio actually told on her and said that she
Had a little crushy crush.
had a crush.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So ironically, we ended up doing a project together with that group, which came out great. And the engineer on that was,
Sean Neff.
Oh, cool.
and that was the first time I worked with Sean. Was when we met, and of course Sean's working as a second engineer on our Swansons project.
Yeah, that's pretty
right.
awesome.
That's
yeah.
amazing. It's funny
Speaking of the
how-
Swansons project, we just finished a session here with the Rileys, and you guys worked on our first album, Country
Yeah.
This, and did all the backing vocals. Now, how did you come about working together outside of when you met initially, professionally? Have you, aside from the Swansons?
Well, we sang together a little. I sang a little bit on that first project, and then Jaime and I did another project together, and I guess we sang some together on that. So I think we kind of recognized that we had a really nice blend, and we've been doing it on projects ever since, whether it's been projects for me or projects for other producers. And it's just, it was something we kind of discovered by accident, that we just had a really nice blend together, and we end up working well together. So we've just been doing it ever since.
Do you guys have musical backgrounds in your families? Either of you?
My family is musical. My mom was a singer-songwriter, played guitar. And
Great singer, actually.
Yeah, and her dad played guitar, and her brother and sister.
Oh, wow.
So they were all musical. So every Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'd have a big family jam,
That's
after we ate.
awesome.
Yeah, so I grew up, my mom and I would sing harmonies together all the time. So that's where I kind of, picked up on all of that through
Right.
her, and we sang in church and all of that stuff. And he didn't really have a musical background.
Not a lot with my family. My parents really appreciated music, and they appreciated different music. My dad was more of Ray Charles and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and my mom was more like ABBA and Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. So I got a really well-rounded musical background listening. My grandfather played a little bit as a hobbyist, just played some fiddle and harmonica, and my my uncle played guitar, and probably the first band I ever played in when I was 12 years old was with him.
What motivated you to play drums specifically?
I knew I wanted to be a musician from before I really knew what that meant. And I started playing drums after I saw a commercial for Kiss Alive 2.
Really?
And I saw Peter Criss's drums kind of going up and up and up, and that big cat appearing, and the drums going all around him. And I said, that's the job I want.
Wow.
But at that time I was already singing a lot. So singing and drumming were two things that I was doing a lot from an early
Well, and it
age.
didn't start out as a dream to be a drummer for him. It was, he wanted to be a rock star.
Is
So
that
his
what it
mom
was?
showed me a little paper that he did in kindergarten. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a rock star. And then he listed all the reasons why he wanted to be a rock
That's
star.
amazing.
This was in kindergarten.
yeah.
Wow.
A little mimeograph thing that they would make,
Yeah.
where they would ask you what you wanted to be. So yeah, I started playing guitar first, but I never really connected as much with the instrument. And I started playing drums when I was like 11. And that was that.
Yeah. What was the first band that you joined as a drummer?
Well, the first thing I played was with my uncle. We actually played some gigs, and then I had a middle school friend of mine. We had a band called Quest.
Quest, nice name.
Yeah, not too bad. And we're still really good friends, and I actually worked on some music for him last year. He's just a hobbyist musician, but it's still fun to connect with him.
Yeah.
And do some stuff.
And you've been singing basically your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so what have you done? You sing in plays and stuff like that? Have you done that kind of work? Or?
No, I've done a little bit of community theater, but I moved here to try to get a record deal, so I was singing all on Broadway, and the Fiddle and Steel was a big part of our lives when we first met. So that's what I did. I just sang for a living, and
we had a family and kind of had to put a little bit of that stuff on hold.
Yeah,
we're kind of getting back around to the point where she can get out and do some more singing, which is great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask, since obviously you say when I moved here, so you're not from here. So where are you guys from originally? If it's not from Nashville, and when did you guys come to Nashville? I want to say.
I grew up in very South Louisiana, and I moved here in the summer of 2000. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And just pull this up.
And where did you always from Nashville, Jim?
No, I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Really great musical area. And I went to college at the University of North Texas, so I made it down south when I was about 18 years old, and I actually never really moved back up. I'm up north. I lived in Kansas City for 2 years before I moved to Nashville, and I've been in Nashville since 1997, so it's been a long
City.
time. And I love it. I love it down here. And I mean, we both feel like Nashville is our home.
Yeah.
Our wedding was in New Orleans, which was a great juxtaposition of the Yankees and you pack your cars and the French Cajun people, and none of them could understand either group, and they all just wanted to listen to the other group talk.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely a language barrier there at our wedding. Yeah. So
And you guys have
awesome.
children. So how many children do you have?
We do. We have 3. We have Kendall, she's 10. Avery, she's 6. And Nathan is almost 4.
Wow. Cool. 3 kids.
Yes.
It's a nice sized family there. Family of 5.
That's
We
right.
have just me and Sky and Angie.
yeah, see, when you get to the 5, you got to end up doing the whole minivan thing.
Yeah.
It makes other things more complicated. You can't get one room at Disney World. You got to get like a suite or something.
Right, yeah.
We just got back from Disney World, so we had a good time with the kids. But Jamie had to turn in her cool card, SUV to get a minivan, which was very, very painful for her. But but she's doing okay.
Do you guys write anything musically together, or
We should write more.
We should. It comes really naturally for Jim more than it does for me when he really sits down and says, "This is what I'm going to do," and he puts his mind to it.
yeah?
For me, it's more. It would have to be more of a labor of love. I have written in the past, but it's not something that comes super naturally to me. I got to really work at it.
I'm definitely a write-on-demand kind of person. Like when I need to write, I can write. But I don't. I think maybe unlike you guys, I don't wake up going, I gotta write.
Yeah.
I see the world as a song. You know, for me, it's like I got a project. I gotta write some music, and that's when I write.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. And I'd written a series of songs, and Rascal Flatts' lead singer actually was like, "Man, we got to get you a publishing deal." And ultimately, the question came down to that. He says, "Do you wake up every day, you know, thinking I got to write?" And I'm like, "I really don't." And I think, you know, that's kind of what they were looking for, is people that, you know, that's what their passion was.
Right.
I think I have much more of a passion for performing and producing and teaching, which is another thing that I do.
Which we wanted to also ask you about, is your drum dojo.
Yeah.
How often? When did you begin your program?
Well, when we built the house that we built. So what year was that?
2007.
Yeah. So I've been, you know, using our basement facility as a teaching facility for about 11 years now, and it's been great. I've always taught and I've always played, so having the teaching studio is just kind of an extension of that, and gives me a great place to do it. So I teach kids from 6th grade to 12th grade, but I mean, like this weekend I have a camp of adults coming in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Saturday we're actually going to visit the studio, and they're going to hear me play a track here for Bill.
So it's like a field trip.
It is
outside
like,
in the
literally like
basement.
a field trip. We only have to drive about 3 miles or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Because I live right down the road. Bill has got really good at finding great players that also live very close to him. So he found me on Facebook and went, "Wow, this guy's right around the corner." And we've been working together for a couple of years now.
Yeah, Bill's been a godsend to us, and this whole experience with the Swansons and with you and Jamie and Bill
And the
Watson.
whole group, man. The whole
it's
group.
just crazy.
Brent and Janae.
Yeah, the way things have transpired.
We were taken back. We didn't know about you guys obviously until the latter part of the Country This album. I mean, it was already done, and then he mentioned that you guys do background. Are we interested? Yes.
Yes, please.
And then we heard one song, and Joe's, because he's like, I don't know if you guys just want it on some of the songs. As soon as we heard one song, we were like, all the songs, please.
Yeah, please, all the songs.
So it was just such a blessing to have you guys join the project. It made the album so much more better than what it already was. And thank you. You have the voice of an angel.
Thank you.
And
My goodness.
It's fun because when I record drums on these, a lot of people probably don't know this, but it's just me and Bill is engineering and I'm playing drums. So I'm playing alone. So I have a kind of a vision in my head for how the song's going to sound, and sometimes it sounds just like that, and sometimes it's taken a little bit of a turn on top of what I've done. But the bottom line is, I don't really get to hear them until the end. But if I'm not singing on them, sometimes I never hear them. So the great thing about us singing on it was I was like, oh wow, this project has come out really great, and then I got to be involved in the inception of it, and then we got to be involved in the the kind of the icing on the cake part of it, which was
It
really
was.
fun.
That's what I was saying. It was just like this extra little whipped cream topping right on the end. It was like, yes.
And on this album that we're wrapping up, that will be out next year, you had given me 9 or 10 different very unique beats.
Yeah.
To write from.
Right.
So we wrote from basically the ground up. And you may have had maybe an idea in your head while you were playing those drum beats of what the song might be.
Right. I was playing grooves and groups of grooves that I felt like had kind of a song form, but I didn't really have a preconceived notion of what you were going to do on top of it. I just wanted to make sure the parts that I was playing made sense. And some of them you kind of jumped on the form that I had, and others you kind of took some inspiration and just went with that. And it was very interesting way to do a project. But it's so far, this record's coming out really nice.
Yeah. Like, what's your favorite food? What do you guys like to eat?
Well, I know she's going to say, she would say it would be Taco Bell.
For him. For him, not for me, for him.
I would say some of my favorite foods, thank God, are some things that Jaime has learned to cook from her mom.
Oh, wow.
And so probably like red beans and rice. And we can always afford that no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But that's probably one of my favorite things to eat. Jaime cooks a bunch for the family, and I like that stuff a lot. But yeah, I got a weakness for Taco Bell, which is right down the street.
How about a favorite band or artist, either one of you? I know that's hard. There's so many great artists.
I have to say Rascal Flatts.
You don't. But I will say this. Before we met, Jaime actually came out to a show that we did at the Wild Horse. So when I was talking to her, like I was saying, I'm this guy, I play with Rascal Flatts. She was like, well, we'll see, because I've got pictures. She didn't tell me this, so she went home and actually checked the pictures to see if I was in there.
Yep.
Was he?
There he is, right there.
Because you didn't know him then.
No,
so, yeah.
I was like,
But
we'll
for
see,
me,
buddy.
I would say, I'd probably say if I had to do one, I would probably say the Beatles. Just because the songwriting was great, the production's really great. And I love listening to it, but I also learn a lot from it. If I was going to pick one artist, then that's super difficult.
Yeah, I'd have to go with you on the Beatles myself. Now, how about you, Jaime? Besides Rascal Flatts.
I'm a big fan of Sting and John Mayer and people like that sort of
cerebral writers.
Yes, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love those guys too.
Different time signatures, and I like that.
How about your favorite place to visit?
I was just going to say, do you guys have a place you like to travel together?
We're kind of just expanding that now. I managed to yank Jaime off of the continent. That's not true. We had gone to some places in the Caribbean, but Jaime and I went to London and Paris. And I think she's got a bug for Europe now. I think
awesome.
I got the fever. I want to see more. I want to go to Italy.
It was hard to,
There's a lot of places
to get her away
want
from the kids.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It is hard.
That's hard.
I know.
It's
hard, but you got to do it,
Yeah.
You can't always take them everywhere you go, you know.
Well, we appreciate your time, and we are so blessed and fortunate to have you guys on our project.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can't thank you enough. It really warms our heart to be with you and to hear the vocals that you create for this album. And they're so unique, individual, and you guys are so talented, so lovely. God bless you both, and thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I think there's one other thing.
Yes.
You're missing a
we're gonna
signature
sing?
on your
Oh, that's
yes.
right. I'm sorry. This is the guitar that everybody
Everybody's
that has
signing.
performed on Country This is signing. And today, Jaime will be signing the
Nice
guitar.
big spot for her right there.
That's right.
At the top?
Center stage.
Sure. It's so pretty. Look at that.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Look at that.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you, guys.
Well, we can't wait
Thank
to see
y'all.
what comes next from you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
I am the outsider. No reason to get excited.
Hey, welcome back, y'all, to Swansonville, and a great interview that we had with Jim and Jaime Riley. And so we're going to wrap things up today with a little song off of a little sneak peek of a song, right?
That's right.
Okay. Of a song from our new album, which is titled officially, we already said it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
Bam.
It's called Bam. You got to say it like
This
that.
song,
Bam.
Bam.
You got to make it stick.
but this song is called Helping Hand.
Helping Hand.
Actually.
Yeah. Little things. Lean, I'm leaning on tomorrow, having trouble getting out of bed. Been dealing with the enemy set up inside my head, and I've been walking on the wild side, caring if I live or die or lose. All my money and my friends, this pity party never ends. I've got the blues.
This
This is no illusion, all this junk's inside my brain. Middle of a happy thought, I'd feel a sudden pain. After another round, I'd go and do it all again.
I'm making all the mistakes that I can. Life's more than just survival. I need a helping hand. I've been clinging to the Bible. I don't think you really understand.
I know much more than you think I know. First things first, you gotta let go.
That's it for now. Thank y'all for joining. And
that's Swansonville podcast. Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Sky.
Thank you, Sky.
Hey, I need some privacy here.
And thanks to Jim and Jaime, and we'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you next time on
Peace out.
Swansonville podcast. Thanks for tuning in.